we receive several $1,000s per year because we do have to continually upgrade and enhance the level of training that our men and women are receiving. Can you speak about how we receive those dollars, Joe, and what we actually use those for?
Well, as you know, our training program initially is a basic 20 weeks on the job that we expand as we need to whatever length of time we need to make sure someone can operate independently. That's just a small part of it. You know, once that we have constant ongoing training, and it is paid for through the state surcharge, 911 surcharge. We apply for that annually. It goes to Lansing, and all the PSAPs, if you will, in the state apply for those funds. And it's based on full-time equivalent personnel. And once they determine that, they, split that up among all the agencies. We get, I think last year we received something like $15,000 that we can spend for additional training. The training has to be for approved training by the state. It isn't, it's only for 911 operators. You can't spend it for anyone else. And it's only on classes that receive pre-approval by the state.
Outstanding, outstanding. We have just a little bit of time left. I want to really talk about some of the new technologies, which is very exciting that we've been able to implement. We've made some significant investments into our communications center over the course of the last 2 or 3 years, much of it with some federal forfeiture dollars that we've been very fortunate with, new furniture. Recently upgraded our digital video technology to make it much easier to record what's happening in lockup. But one thing I want to talk about, Joe, is the emerging next generation 911 telephone system that City Council just approved a couple months ago, and we're actually in the process of having that implemented.
Next generation 911 is taking us into the, I guess simply the next level of technology, that we will not only have voice communications, but it will provide us the means to receive video or text messaging from someone in the field. In other words, if you pull up in an accident, it will allow the ability to receive a photo from the reporting party of that accident scene. The equipment that we've ordered gives us that ability. We're still waiting on the requirements that are still being developed at the national level of what next generation should be. But it is IP based, and it will give us the ability to receive that information once those parameters have been established.
Fantastic. And I know with the voice over the internet and the IP based, it's really critical for people. One tip you can give them every time they call 911, 2 questions they should be prepared to answer.
Well, I think when they call 911, a couple things that I would encourage people to do is, one, we understand it is a stressful situation for anyone that obviously calling 911, but it's important to remain as calm as possible and to be prepared to answer the questions of the telecommunicator. Most times when they're answering questions, they are scripted questions that we ask everybody that calls. That there is a reason for that, so that the responding personnel has the adequate information. But don't be concerned with the delay. What I would tell them is that in most cases, and help has already been dispatched, while you're talking to that operator, they work in concert with one another, and that if it's an emergency, they're picking up on it, and the other one who's not on the phone is already sending help.
Absolutely. Name is always important. Physical address on where you're located at is always key, so we know where to send the proper resources.
Even though the 911 system will give us some basis of location information and where the call is coming from, we never assume that that's correct. It helps us on a silent call, but in cases where people are on the phone, we always confirm the location and who's calling, even though some of that information may be on screen. Just that you don't want to depend on that all.
Outstanding. Well, I'd like to thank both of you for joining us here today on the briefing room. I think it's important for the community members of Novi to know the expertise, the talent, the men and women that are working in the center. Joe, under his leadership, in the way that this technology is evolving, but we're always keeping pace, and we're always making those investments on a yearly basis to ensure that we're providing the highest level of not only emergency service, but customer service. And to you, the viewing audience, thank you for tuning in to the briefing room. Keep watching Channel 13, and be sure to check our website at cityofnovi.org for any new updates on the Novi Police Department or what's happening around Novi. Thank you, and until next time, take care.